What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and if you're enjoying the content here on my channel, then make sure you hit the like button and make sure you hit subscribe so you can help decide what direction the content on my channel goes in the foreseeable future. What's going on, guys? This is Rob, and I hope all of you guys had an amazing Thanksgiving. I know I did. I went over to Benny, a comic historian's house. I had Thanksgiving with him. It was awesome. Houston is such an amazing cook. Houston's one of the editors that works for Benny. He's such an amazing chef. He's a trained chef, and he is so good at cooking stuff. I made pineapple upside down cake, which turned out to be amazing. Houston's girlfriend, Molly, made this super good pecan cheesecake, pecan pie cheesecake. And then I learned about something called pie caking. It's where you take pie and cake and you put them together. You combine them into one dessert. I never heard of it before. Pie caking is an amazing name. I don't know who thought of that name, but that's an awesome thing to call it. Anyway, we are doing our versus videos, and I don't even know if we have a day for this. I think the videos just get released on a day when I don't have anything else planned, which is fine by me because it keeps you guys on your toes and you never know when you're going to see one pop up. But in this video, we are pitting a Marvel character against a DC character, and we're taking the characters of Deadpool versus the Batman Who Laughs. Now, this is going to be kind of cool. So if you're not familiar with the Batman Who Laughs, he debuted as part of the Dark Knight's Metal event that has pretty much been spanning all of DC's entire lineup of their top comics for the last few months. And in Dark Knight's Metal, the Batman Who Laughs #1, writer James Tynion revealed the origin story of the Batman Who Laughs, which we're going to cover briefly as part of this video. But if you want the full story of his origin and what happened in that book, I have a video explaining it in depth, and you'll find that video down in the description. But basically, the Batman Who Laughs is the Bruce Wayne of Earth -22, who one day, while he was hanging out doing whatever it is a Batman does, was pushed to his breaking point when the Joker implemented one of his ploys, and Batman actually ended up killing the Joker. Now, when the Joker died, some of the Joker toxin that was inside of his body, in fact, it was kind of like this doomsday device, that if the Joker died, this virulent strain of the toxin, this purified version of the Joker toxin, would leave his body and spread into whoever killed them, turning them into the new Joker and allowing the Joker's legacy to move on. And so what we ended up having was this character that had the highly intelligent and organized mind of Bruce Wayne combined with the criminal insanity of the Joker. And from here, we actually end up seeing Batman murdering most of the Bat family, Dick Grayson, Barbara Gordon, Jason Todd, and Tim Drake, because he knows they'll be the first ones to notice a change in his demeanor, and he needs them out of the way. From there, he goes on to take out most of the Justice League. Now, we don't see how he takes them all out. All we know is that he took them out using weapons that they had gained over the course of their careers as superheroes, and they'd stored in the safety of the Justice League Watchtower. But probably the most screwed up part of his origin story is he captures Superman, Superman's son, and Lois Lane, and then exposes Superman and his son to black kryptonite, which drives them insane, and they kill Lois Lane. It's pretty gruesome, and that's why it's so awesome. It is an amazing story. So, in order to determine who would come out of this contest with a victory, we have to see what each character is capable of. Now, in the case of the Batman Who Laughs, we have not gotten a full picture of what his powers and abilities are, but since he is essentially just Batman that's been infected with the Joker toxin, it can stand to reason that he will be capable of doing anything that Batman or the Joker could do. And what that means is that technically, the Batman Who Laughs doesn't actually have any superpowers, since neither Batman nor the Joker are superpowered beings. However, that does not mean by any stretch of the imagination that he's not a formidable threat, as we've seen Batman take down some of the most powerful superheroes in the DC universe. But what makes him formidable is the same thing that makes Batman a threat: his intelligence, which lends itself to creating a highly skilled detective, his prowess as a hand-to-hand combatant, and his astronomical wealth that allows him to buy whatever he needs to take down his enemies. Of course, this has always come with the caveat that there was a line that Batman would not cross under any circumstances. But this all goes out the window with the Batman Who Laughs, due to the Joker toxin that's infected him. So what you get is basically someone who's going to use his intellect and his wealth to devise ways to create as much destruction and kill as many people as possible. And so essentially it transforms him into the smartest, wealthiest murderer that you can imagine. And we can only even attempt to wrap our minds around the amount of damage that he could cause with a virtually inexhaustible stream of resources at his disposal. This, of course, all assumes that he's still on Earth -22 and, in his own universe and so on and so forth. On the other side of the battle, we have Deadpool, who's one of the deadliest characters in the Marvel Universe. So I assume that everybody watching this video is familiar with Deadpool. And if you're not, then my question is, where have you been? Like, Deadpool has a movie now. He's been a super popular character for quite some time. Whenever he's not going out and doing whatever Deadpool does, he plays the role of an actor named Ryan Reynolds. He does all kinds of things. Like, he's a really, really cool guy. But he's essentially a mercenary and assassin named Wade Wilson with a highly efficient healing factor that was given to him as part of an experiment conducted by the Weapons Plus program, a clandestine military operation that endeavored to create the ultimate super weapon after failing to capture the super soldier formula that made Captain America, and then trying to bond the healing factor of Wolverine to other people. Now, as for Deadpool's powers, he actually only has one, which is his healing factor. But his healing factor is one of the strongest, if not the strongest, in Marvel Comics, and allows him to heal from seemingly any injury. Now, Deadpool survived gunshot wounds, stabbings, even decapitation and disintegration thanks to his powerful healing factor. So this begs the question, is it even possible to kill Deadpool? Well, the answer is unfortunately not clear-cut. Deadpool is not inherently immortal. That it is theoretically possible for his healing factor to be overcome in much the same way as Wolverine's healing factor does not make him immortal, due in large part to the fact that the DNA from Wolverine's healing factor was used to basically create Deadpool's healing factor. Now, before the Deadpool fans who don't read his comics and only read Wikipedia start coming out of the woodwork and talking about, oh, he was cursed with immortality, that's true. For a time in Marvel Comics, Deadpool was placed under a curse of immortality by Thanos, who was jealous of the affection shown to Deadpool by Mistress Death and didn't want the two of them to get together. So this is actually what we can most likely attribute to some of the insane instances of healing that we've seen Deadpool undergo in the comics. He literally couldn't die. So things that would normally have just been too much for his healing factor did not actually kill him due to Thanos' curse. What Wikipedia will not tell you is that in Deadpool versus Thanos #1, we actually see that Thanos has a desire to kill Deadpool, which prompts him to lift the curse of immortality. Thanos does end up killing Deadpool, but then he resurrects him later on because he needs his help to track down Mistress Death, who's basically vanished. Now, for the purposes of this battle, we're going to assume that Deadpool is not immortal, but instead just possesses a highly efficient healing factor like he did before he was given the curse of immortality. But when weighing Deadpool's chances in this battle, we also have to take into consideration Deadpool's other skills, which include being an expert in hand-to-hand combat, swordsmanship, and marksmanship, all owing to Deadpool's extensive training as an assassin. So the question is, who would win in this battle? Well, the answer is, it depends. I know this is kind of a non-answer, but I'll explain to you guys what I mean. If the scenario is these two characters meeting each other sight unseen and just fighting, I'd give the nod to Deadpool. He not only is going to be able to match the Batman who laughs as a fighter, but his healing factor will allow him to withstand any damage that Batman's able to do to him. So even if Batman is a more skilled combatant, which is debatable, eventually his body will tire and the damage that's being dealt to him will accumulate and he'll succumb to his injuries, granting Deadpool the victory. But this would not be a video about Batman if we didn't mention prep time. And while that's something I joke about a lot because it is a joke, I do think that in this scenario, it would tilt the balance in Batman's favor. The reason I say that is that if there is something out there that the Batman who laughs can use to kill Deadpool, we can be sure that A, he'll figure it out because he still possesses Bruce Wayne's detective skills and intelligence, B, he'll spend any amount of money or take whatever other means he needs to acquire it, C, he won't hesitate to use it on Deadpool, and D, he's Batman. So the question is, does anything like this exist? Well, if you go back and watch my video on how to kill Deadpool and my video on how to kill Wolverine, we discussed a few things in the Marvel Universe that can counteract their healing factors. One of those things was carbonadium, which is an unstable version of adamantium engineered by the Soviets, which has the property of suppressing healing factors of Wolverine and by extension, Deadpool. Another artifact within the Marvel Universe that's effective at negating healing factors in their entirety is the Muramasa Blade, which was forged using a piece of Wolverine's soul and can effectively wipe out his healing factor in its entirety if it's used on him. So if Batman had prep time to prepare for this battle with Deadpool, he could theoretically learn of the existence of the Muramasa Blade, acquire it, cut Deadpool with it, and wipe out his healing factor and use any of the rest of his vast arsenal of weapons to take Deadpool out. But yeah, that's how I kind of see this going down. That's my my interpretation of Deadpool versus the Batman Who Laughs. I mean, I'll be honest, I think a comic where Deadpool encounters a Batman Who Laughs would be amazing. Not only would the battle be brutal, but it would be hilarious as well. I could just see Deadpool like asking the Batman Who Laughs how he can see with spikes over his eyes, and imagining how a Batman Joker hybrid would respond to Deadpool's wisecracks, which honestly, I don't know how that would go down, but it's something I definitely want to read about. I really want to see that. I really want to see that comic. But with that being said, guys, we're going to bring this video to an end. If you are new here to Comics Explained, make sure you guys hit the sub button to become part of the Rob Corps. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like, and I will catch you all later. Peace.